On February 9th of 1977, searchers will find a bare leg sticking out from behind some bushes, covered in debris, and laying beneath a pine tree at the Golden Hills Park in San Diego, California. As they approached, they realized it was the body of a small child who was nude and showed clear signs of trauma. Before we dive deeper into this case, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and to share this channel. And don't forget to turn on your post notification bell to stay updated on more of these cases. Now, let's return to this tragic story. To fully understand this case, I need you to travel back with me in time to February 9th, 1977 in San Diego, California. Jose Luisito Ramirez was born on June 20th, 1970, in Mexico to Maria Garcia. His family would later move to Southeast San Diego, where Jose was a lively, healthy, and happy first grader who loved life. On February 6th of 1977, Jose went outside to play and ride his tricycle in front of his home. He began to ride up and down his street when he encountered a nearby neighbor who offered him a sandwich before he headed back home on his tricycle. This would be the last time that anyone saw the 6-year-old as he mysteriously vanished. Later that day, Jose's stepfather Juan, an unemployed dock worker, had returned home from after searching for work in Tijuana. Maria, Jose's mother, she expected to not only be greeted by her husband Juan, but also to be greeted by her son Jose, who would sometimes join his stepfather to Tijuana while he worked odd jobs. When Maria noticed that Jose was not with Juan, she began inquiring about his whereabouts. Juan informed Maria that Jose was never with him. Maria then realized that she hadn't seen Jose that Sunday morning all day as usual, but she had dismissed it earlier, thinking that he was with his stepfather that day. Maria and Juan quickly called the San Diego police to report 6-year-old Jose missing. San Diego police initiated an official search in hopes of locating the missing 6-year-old. Volunteers from across San Diego joined in, knocking on doors and searching nearby canyons and fields for little Jose. Unfortunately, the search yielded no results, and little Jose was still declared missing. And the San Diego police officially called off the search on Tuesday, February 8th of 1977. But despite the search being terminated, the volunteers continued their efforts, and on February 9th of 1977, they began searching a nearby park in Golden Hills, California. This is where they stumbled upon a small bare leg that was protruding from some bushes beneath a palm tree and covered in debris. As they approached the leg, they discovered the lifeless body of a small child lying nude under the palm tree. Searchers will promptly contact the San Diego police to report this grim finding. Homicide investigators would soon arrive on the scene to gather evidence, and the young victim's body was recovered and taken down to the county medical examiner's office for identification and autopsy. It was quickly determined that the body belonged to 6-year-old Jose Luisito Ramirez. The autopsy revealed that he had been sexually assaulted and suffocated. Investigators believe that Jose was likely killed in a different location, and his body was placed at Golden Hills Park shortly afterwards. Homicide investigators began their search for the individual who was responsible for the young boy's death. It wasn't long before they identified a suspect by the name of 34-year-old Robert McFarlane, a hotel worker who was known to befriend many of the neighborhood children that was around Jose's area. Robert McFarlane was arrested on February 13th of 1977, just a few days after Jose's new body was discovered. He was apprehended 14 blocks from Jose's home. Investigators soon uncovered that Robert McFarlane had been previously convicted twice of child molestation and had been arrested prior to Jose's murder for sexually assaulting two young minors. Robert McFarlane Jr. was previously committed to a state hospital as a mentally disordered sex offender following an arrest in San Diego for molesting two young boys. After his release from the hospital, he was rearrested again in Ontario, California on similar charges. He was eventually sent to prison, and at the time of his arrest for the murder of 6-year-old Jose, he was also on parole. Jose's parents, Juan and Maria Garcia, filed a $1 million claim against the state of California, alleging negligence and mishandling of a parolee who had served time for child molestation before being accused of killing their son Jose. They contended that since Robert McFarlane Jr. was released earlier prior to Jose's murder, the state failed to inform them and the community about Robert's previous convictions, which ultimately contribute to their son's death. Robert's defense team filed a motion to transfer Robert McFarlane back to a state mental hospital, but Superior Judge Douglas Woodward will deny this request, ordering the defendant back to court for a sentence to a life term in prison. Robert McFarlane had 2 prior convictions of child molestation, once in 1966 and again in 1969, during which he was declared a mentally disordered sex offender, and he was sentenced to a state hospital then. But in 1973, doctors would determine that Robert McFarlane was untreatable, leading to his transfer back to state prison. He was paroled just 2 years later before the murder of Jose. On August 4th of 1977, Robert McFarlane pleaded guilty into taking the life of 6-year-old Jose Ramirez. He was convicted of Jose's murder and sentenced to life in prison after he passed his psychiatric evaluation. Unfortunately, there is limited information available about Robert McFarlane following his incarceration and conviction for the murder of 6-year-old Jose Ramirez, leaving his current status unknown. At the time of his death, Jose was just a first grader. He had also had 3 other siblings. We are currently here at the Holy Cross Cemetery in San Diego, California, visiting the final resting place of 6-year-old Jose Ramirez. Please continue to pray for the family of Jose Ramirez, and we're happy that they did receive the justice that they deserve. And rest in peace to little Jose Luisito Ramirez. May we advocate for you, through you, and about you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share for more of these cases and great content. Until next time, don't forget to love each other, pray for one another, and spread kindness to each other. Thanks for watching.